Music theory almost always revolves around the major scale. Now, scale is just a series of notes played one after the other, ascending in pitch. It looks like this. We can also play a scale descending in pitch, with pitch of course referencing the high versus low sounds. A low sound is something like a lion's roar, and a high pitched sound is something like Swifties screaming at a concert. To build a major scale, we need to use notes from the musical alphabet. The musical alphabet is just the first 7 letters of the standard English alphabet. So A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, which will then just keep recurring. The musical alphabet can be found on the white keys of a piano. Now, before we look at building a major scale, which we'll do in the next lesson, I want to first run you through where to find the musical alphabet on the piano, and we'll also look at the difference between natural notes and then sharps or flat notes, which is white keys versus the black keys. So let's move over there. As we mentioned before, the white keys on the piano are the natural notes of the musical alphabet. So A, B, C, D, E, F, and G can all be found here. The black notes, however, are called sharps and flats. Each individual black note has both a sharp and flat name, which we'll talk about in a little second. But the first thing I want you to do is have a look at the black notes and recognize the pattern of groups of 2 and 3. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, of course, with a gap in between each of the groups. I want you to go to the center, the center of the piano, and find the group of 2 black notes right here. What we're going to do is play the white key in the middle of those 2 black notes, those 2 sharp slash and or flat keys. So the white one in the middle of the group of 2 will always be a D from our musical alphabet, just a natural D. This will be the same for every single spot on the piano where there is a group of 2. So here's another group of 2 black notes, white one in the middle, D. Over here, group of 2 black notes, white one in the middle, D. After D in the musical alphabet, we have got E, A, B, C, D, E. So if I have my D here in the middle of the group of 2 black notes, and I move up in pitch over to my next white note, I have got an E. If I move again up in pitch to my next white note, F, and then again to G. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the musical alphabet keeps recurring. So after G, we have got A again. Then pretty simply we can count up to the next D. So A, B, C, and then D to finish. The distance between our first D and now the second D is 8 notes. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then D again. So if we count those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. That is going to be an octave, a distance of an octave, octave course meaning 8. So from D to D we have our octave. One of the most important notes in all of music is a note called middle C. Go back to the D that we played just before. This one here, sort of close to the center of the piano, the middle almost, and then you move 1 key to the left, and there is middle C. So we have gone down in pitch, closer to the left-hand side of the piano, and you have got middle C. We'll work out why that's called middle C a little bit later, but for now just think of it as the C closest to the center, closest to the middle of the piano. Middle C. What I just played there was the chromatic scale. You don't need to worry about what that means or anything like that, but all I've done there is play every single white and black note from C to the next C, that octave distance. What I want to do now is work our way up the black notes and then work our way down the black notes to talk about what they're called. So sharps and or flats, that is the name of the black note. They can have 2 different names, but we only ever use one at any given time. So if we start from C, and I move up in pitch, up slightly in pitch to the exact next key, which is our black note in between the notes C and D, we have C to what we call a C sharp. Next we would have D. If I again go up in pitch to the direct next key, I have got D sharp. Okay, so if we have our natural note and we're moving up in pitch to the black note, it will be A sharp, where we have raised the note. So from C up to the black note we have C sharp. After C is D in the alphabet. From D we can go up to D sharp. After D we have got E, and then straight to F. There is no black note in between the E and F notes. So we have just standard E to natural F. F up to the black note, up in pitch, gives us F sharp. After F we of course have G. So there is our natural G. After G, G sharp, and then back to A sharp, B, C. Okay, so C to C sharp, D to D sharp, then E and F, there is no black note in the middle of those two, then F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. Again, there is no black note in between those two. That is something important to remember. There is no black note in between E and F, and also B and C. So at this point in time, there is technically no such thing as a B sharp or an E sharp. Just for now, doesn't exist. If you ever see one of the letters of the musical alphabet next to a hashtag, you have got a sharp note, which of course looks like that. A natural note looks like this, which is pretty cool, a bit interesting, but our sharp note is this. So if we had C sharp, all that means is go to C, which you can do either just by figuring out where it is, by identifying that is C, or if you're still working towards being able to do that, you go to the group of two black notes, white one in the middle is D, what comes before D in the alphabet, there's C. So you find C, that's long story short, you find C, and then if we go up in pitch to the black note, we have got C sharp. Same thing for F sharp. Step one, find F, which you either just straight up identify or you count up to it from D. So F is there, F sharp, we go up in pitch to the black note, there is F sharp. The flat symbol, on the other hand, is this weird looking B thing, which looks like that. And to work these out, we're going to count backwards from C. So here is middle C. I'm going to come up the octave, so up an octave in pitch to this C. Now what we're going to do is work our way backwards using flat. So sharp was you go up in pitch to the black note, flat is going to be you go down in pitch from the black note. So we have C, backwards one we have got B, because there is no black note in between B and C. Next we go down one to our first black note, technically our third black note of the group of three. That is going to become a B flat. Go down again, we have A. Moving down to the flat key, we have now got A flat. Down again, we've got G. Backwards to the black key is G flat. Then F straight to E, because again, no black note in between the E and F notes. E down to a black note equals E flat. Then you got D comes before E, so D down to D flat, and then C. So long story short, we have C and a D either side our first black note in the group of two, C and D. This one black note can be called C sharp, where we've come up in pitch, or it could also be called D flat, because we've come backwards or down in pitch to the black note. Over here, with our second black note of the group of two, you have got D and E either side, because we can play D up to the D sharp. We've moved up in pitch, D sharp. We've also got E moving down in pitch gives you E flat. That is how you identify what the black notes are called. So the white keys are the musical alphabet as your natural notes, and the black keys are your musical alphabet as sharps or flats. Key thing to note is that there is no sharp or flat in between B and C and E and F. Remember those. Before we move on, I just want to do a quick little recap over everything we've covered so far. So first of all, we had the musical alphabet, which was letters A through to G, and they will be found as natural notes on the white keys of the piano. The black keys are for your sharps and or flats. To locate the musical alphabet on the piano, we can go to the group of two black notes and play the white key in the middle of those black notes. That will always be D, which we can then use to count up and down the white notes on the piano to find whatever musical alphabet note you are looking for. Your sharps and flats, if you go from your natural note up in pitch, you have got a sharp. If you go down in pitch, you have got a flat. The final thing that we need to work out for this video is the difference between a semitone and a tone, or a half step and a full step if you're from America. Now, as we're working out the sharps and flats, I played this. What we have there is something that we call the chromatic scale. Don't worry about what it's called. All you need to understand is that I've played every single key, black and white, from C through to the next C. So the notes that we would have is C to C sharp, from C sharp to D, D to D sharp, to E, to F sharp, etc. And then we also went backwards. Because we have played one key and then moved directly to the next key that is directly next to it, we have moved what we call a semitone, which is just from one key directly to the next one, which also works if we're going backwards. So from C to C sharp, because they're right next to each other, we have got a semitone. From C down to B, because they are right next to each other, they are also a semitone. If we put two semitones together, we create one tone. So from C to C sharp, we now know to be a semitone. If we add another semitone on top of that, we land on D. So the jump between C to D is a tone, which would be the same from D to E, because we've got that D sharp or E flat in the middle. E to F. Our F is directly next to the E, which means that is just a semitone. E to F sharp, on the other hand, is a tone, because we've moved over there, skipped the F, and we've landed on F sharp. So E to F sharp is going to be a tone, or a full step if you're from America. Let's just do a quick little couple of examples here. C to D, I mentioned, was a tone. C sharp to D sharp, we have skipped over the natural D note, which means that jump there is going to be a tone. From E flat, which is also called D sharp, to E, we would have a semitone. But from D sharp / E flat, jumping all the way over to F, we have got a tone. Next lesson, we will use those tones and semitones to build a formula to work out how to create a major scale. But stay tuned for all of that in part 3 of the series, which again is going to be lesson 2. If you have any questions about anything that we covered in today's video, which was the musical alphabet, what the different forms of these notes are, so sharp, flat, or natural, and also where they are located on the piano. If you have any questions about that, or tones and semitones, please let me know in the comments down below. This entire series is going to be completely free, so the best way to support me and the series is to subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified of when the next installments of this course come out, and also like and comment on this video to get it boosted with the algorithm. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in part 3, which is lesson 2.